We see the sprawling penthouses rising over Connecticut's quiet skyline, Channel logos gleaming on quilted leather handbags, Maserati keys flashing for the camera like trophies. We see first-class flights, marble hotel suites in Turkey, and shopping sprees in Dubai that look more like scenes from a billionaire's diary than two sisters from Middletown. The image they show the world is flawless, almost too flawless. Because the math? It has never added up. How do two reality TV personalities with a small online boutique afford a lifestyle that outpaces CEOs, surgeons, even hedge fund managers? The truth is simple. What you see on screen is a performance. A glittering illusion crafted to hide a much more complicated, and possibly much darker, financial reality. And that's where our investigation begins. For years, whispers have echoed through fan forums, Reddit threads, and anonymous gossip trenches online. A theory so explosive that most people brushed it off as jealousy or hate. But what if the theory everyone dismissed is the closest to the truth? Today, we're not just covering drama. We are opening the silver case file. A case full of secrets, inconsistencies, mysterious men, unexplained money trails, and the infamous sugar daddy theory that refuses to die. If the truth behind the Silver Empire ever comes out, it could shake their brand to its very core. Welcome to the tell-all tapes. If you already suspect that reality TV only shows half the story, then you're exactly where you need to be. Because today we peel back the glamorous layers, expose the cracks beneath the glitter, and follow the breadcrumbs to a truth they never expected anyone to uncover. Before we begin, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a like. Not just for the algorithm, but so you don't miss a single piece of evidence as we dive deeper into one of the most complicated investigations we've ever tackled. The Silver Mystery starts now. To understand the mystery, you must first understand the numbers. This isn't about jealousy or speculation. It's about basic arithmetic. A reality star on a flagship TLC show like 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days reportedly earns somewhere in the vicinity of $1,500 per episode. Let's be generous. Let's say for their own dedicated spin-off, Darcey and Stacey, that number is doubled. Maybe even tripled due to their veteran status. Let's estimate a high-end figure of $5,000 per episode for each twin. With a season of, say, 10 to 12 episodes, that's a respectable $60,000 each per season. Let's even factor in the tell-all specials, other appearances and bonuses. We could, with extreme generosity, push their annual TLC income to maybe $150,000 each. A significant sum for most people, but a mere drop in the ocean of their expenditures. Now, let's look at the flip side of the coin. Their lifestyle, which is easy to see on camera. They live in a high-end apartment building in Connecticut, where identical units rent for $7,000 to $10,000 a month. That's more than $100,000 a year just for rent. Then there are the vehicles. A Maserati, an Audi, and more. The payments on these cars' leases or loans alone could quickly add up to $30,000 to $40,000 a year. We haven't even looked at the clothes yet. You don't often see the twins without an item of expensive clothing that stands out. Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Christian Louboutin, and Balenciaga. One handbag can cost more than the charge for an entire season's worth of episodes. Their collection is huge and always growing. A conservative guess of how much they spend on clothes, accessories, and jewelry each year would put them in the high 5 to low 6-figure range. And then there's the never-ending, pricey search for physical perfection. The travels to Turkey for full-body makeovers, the Barbie touch-ups, the veneers, the fillers, the threads, and the extensions. These aren't one-time charges. They're costs that need to be paid over time. When you add up the cost of operations, travel, and rehabilitation, a single trip to a high-end cosmetic clinic in Istanbul can cost more than $50,000 per person. They do this all the time. Include vacations to Miami, Los Angeles, and Dubai, which is a very costly playground. We are looking at a yearly spending that is documented, clear, and easily and conservatively over $500,000. it probably goes up to $750,000 or more. We think that their main employment, which we know about, pays them about $150,000 a year, and we think that their expenses are above $500,000 a year. This leaves a hole, a money pit that costs at least $350,000 a year. Where is it coming from? Their business, House of 11, is the official explanation that they give to the world. In 2010, they started House of 11 in memory of their brother Michael Silver, who died of cancer in 1998. The feelings are real, and the tale of how it all began is sad and real. It seems like a clothes and lifestyle business on the outside, but when you start to look into it as a real business that can support a multi-million-dollar lifestyle, the whole thing starts to appear less like a Fortune 500 corporation and more like a front. The website had problems for years. Items were often out of stock, and the product line was not always the same. The items themselves, which were typically bought from wholesale sources, were sold for a lot more than they were worth, which made it hard for them to compete in the market. It's hardly high fashion, but it costs more than most fast fashion. There are varied reviews from customers, with many saying that the quality is not worth the price. More importantly, where is the marketing footprint of a brand that makes millions of dollars in profit? Brands like Skims by Kim Kardashian and Fenty by Rihanna that are led by influencers are everywhere. They have big advertising expenditures, work with famous people, and are sold in big stores. In contrast, House of 11 seems to only exist on the twins' own social media. There are no big ad campaigns, no big news stories, and no clear indicators that the business is doing well and making millions of dollars. Could it work on a smaller scale? Of course. Could it be making enough money after paying for supplies, manufacturing, shipping, marketing, and taxes to give the twins more than $500,000 a year to spend? The evidence strongly implies that this is not possible financially. It looks more like a passion project, or maybe, as the darker idea says, something else. A car. A means to make money from other less public sources seem real. A concise, pre-packaged answer to the question that everyone asks. Our brand. So, if TLC isn't paying for it and House of 11 can't possibly be paying for it, their finances are still in the same big hole. And it was in this lack of reason that the murmurs started. Whispers that have now turned into what can only be called a bombshell. A well-known 90-day fiancé blogger who is known for their in-depth reporting and insider sources, is said to have gotten an anonymous email a few months ago. This wasn't just some random troll. The blogger said that the email was quite thorough, specific, and written by someone who said they had been a part of Miami's social scene for a long time. A socialite who had seen the Silver Twins' surgery long before the cameras were on. We'll call this source the Miami Insider. The email's exclusive story says that Darcey and Stacey were well known in a very small, very elite subculture of Miami's elite, even before they appeared on reality TV. This wasn't a place where celebrities walked on public red carpets or hung out at popular spots. This was the private world that happened behind locked gates and on the open water. Star Island has yacht parties, exclusive villas where only the richest people can go, and gatherings hosted by a revolving cast of very affluent, generally elderly, multinational business people. The insider said that the twins were the best in the world at this. They were lovely, adorable, and best of all, they came in a set. In a city full of gorgeous ladies, twin tuition was their unique selling point. They were new and unforgettable for men who had seen and done it all. The email said that these weren't just dates. These were plans. They made an unconscious deal. Their companionship, charm, and readiness to play a role in exchange for a lifestyle they could never afford. Lavish presents, shopping sprees, access to privileged circles, and, according to others, direct financial help. It was evident from the source that one thing was really important. This business didn't end when they came to TLC. It was only a cover narrative for it. Their fame made them welcome in these circles. Now, when people saw them with a rich benefactor, they weren't just party girls, they were famous people on reality TV. It was the best cover. According to this anonymous email, the network of benefactors didn't break up, it grew. it got more global. This is where their travel habits become quite important. Dubai and Miami. Why do you keep going to those two cities? They aren't just somewhere to go on vacation. They are the world's most important cities for a certain type of business. Miami is the main hub for rich people from South and Central America, and it's also a place for American tycoons to have fun. It's a city that runs on networking, image, and the business side of beauty and power. The theory says that their frequent, often long excursions to Miami aren't for fun. They are for growing and keeping their network. They are business excursions that seem like vacations. Next up is Dubai. In the last few decades, this city has become the clear global headquarters for the very rich, a site where money from Russia, Asia, the Middle East, and Europe all comes together. People recognize this city for its unmatched elegance and its ability to keep secrets. What happens in Dubai stays in Dubai. The twins' excursions there, where they stayed in luxurious hotel suites and wore new designer items, mirrored the pattern that the Miami Insider wrote about exactly. This hypothesis says that it is a pilgrimage to the center of their financial empire. It's where they meet their most important international donors, away from the American press and TLC cameras, which only show the sanitized, tourist-friendly version of these excursions. The shopping, the dune buggies, and the lavish meals. The cameras never show the secret meetings in penthouses, the private parties on luxury yachts, or the money that is said to be behind the whole trip. This notion changes how we look at everything we see on screen. House of 11 isn't a real business, it's a prop. The travels aren't for fun, they're for work, and their whole Silver Strong brand, with its story of being self-made boss chicks, is the best thing they've ever done. It can be a carefully planned fiction to disguise a truth that they know their audience and family would never accept. They aren't only famous people, they are the masterminds behind a complicated multinational financial operation that is based on deals with a small group of rich guys. So, where do Florian and Georgi, the spouses, fit into this complicated web? The story that a casual observer sees is about two foreign guys who fell in love with American ladies and had to deal with the difficulties of the K-1 visa procedure and married life. But if we use the benefactor idea, their duties get a lot more intricate and sad. The idea posits that Florian and Georgi possessed some awareness of the arrangements that financed the lifestyle that captivated them. In a way, they were brought into a business model that was already in place. Think about it. Florian was a model from Albania, and Georgi was a masseur from Bulgaria. Both were good-looking guys from nations with less job options. They were thrown into a world of luxury that was inconceivable. They were suddenly living in fancy apartments, driving fancy cars, and getting a lot of gifts. The hypothesis says that the first unspoken agreement was one of complicity. They would get to enjoy the benefits of the Silver Empire, and in return, they would act like loving, dedicated partners for the cameras and the public. In a way, they were the most visible accessories of all. Their presence made the twins' way of existence seem normal. It gave the impression of traditional romance and home life, which took their minds off the difficult money problems. They were part of the story that was told. But an agreement established in secret doesn't usually last when the harsh light of day-to-day life shines on it. And this is where the business model starts to break down. We are informed that the drama on film, the continual fighting, the accusations, and the tears are all about love, trust, and communication. But what if it isn't? What if the marriage problems we see are really a business conflict? Let's take a look at Georgi Rousseau's case. There was one main thread in his story with Darcey from the start: cash. Darcey and her family were often worried about his money problems. They said he was a gold digger who was only with her for a green card and a life of luxury. The story was that Darcey, the successful boss girl, was frightened that a man with no money would take advantage of her. But the benefactor notion changes everything about this situation. What if Georgi's anger wasn't about not having enough money, but about other people having money? Think about how angry they get when they fight. Most of the time, they weren't about Georgi not paying the rent. There was a power imbalance, a need for control, and a need for secrecy. Georgi often seemed confused and angry because he couldn't figure out what was going on. Darcey would call him a fake man and say he wasn't a real man since he wasn't a provider. At the same time, she was paying for a lifestyle that no man of his wealth could ever hope to match. The theory says that Georgi wasn't trying to take over Darcey's money. He was battling for a place in it that wasn't dominated by unknown, unseen people who helped him. Think about how bad that would be for your mind. You are the spouse, but you are not the one who provides. People say that other men pay for the place you live in, the car you drive, and the clothes your wife wears. These guys are like ghosts in your marriage. You can feel their power in every credit card swipe and every new designer bag that shows up in the closet. When Georgi would storm off and say he needed to be respected as a man, was he talking about creating his own money? Or was he talking about how completely he felt like a man since he knew he was living in a house that his wife's benefactors had built? His battles weren't about him being controlling. They were about how anxious he was to compete with a financial empire he could never match. He wanted to be the king of a castle that was already possessed by a group of other stronger kings. This new way of looking at things explains so many strange scenes. Remember how Georgi was always being told to give Darcey extravagant gifts? It wasn't the gifts that mattered, it was the test. Darcey was able to get Georgi take part in the dream by threatening to tell him that he could be the provider, even though they both knew that he was only using a credit card that was probably paid by the system he was competing against. It was a power move, a regular reminder of who actually had the money. The fight wasn't just Georgi. Why don't you have money? It was more like, Georgi, why can't you accept where my money comes from and your place in it? He was supposed to be thankful for the lifestyle, but also act like it didn't come from a source that made him a bad husband. The hypothesis says that this insurmountable contradiction is what finally broke him. He didn't want to be a paid actor in Darcey's big show anymore. He wanted to be a real partner, but under the Silver Company model, that job didn't exist. Now let's talk about Stacey and Florian. When you look at them this way, their dynamic is different yet just as illuminating. Florian has always been more docile and eager to go along with things. For a long period, he seemed happy to enjoy the benefits of the lifestyle without causing any trouble. He got a car, clothes, and a good life. And in return, he was Stacey's loving companion, even if he was quiet at times. It looked like the unspoken pact was still in place. But then there was the cheating controversy. There were pictures and videos of Florian with another woman, which almost ended their relationship. The story on film was a straightforward one about cheating. But when you look at it through the lens of the benefactor idea, it means something else and more complicated. If their marriage was really just a commercial deal, then Florian's cheating wasn't just a personal betrayal, it was a breach of contract. He wasn't keeping his half of the deal. To make the husband look faithful and loving, his affair with another woman put the whole public story in danger. It opened the curtain and showed that the flawless fantasy existence was actually quite faulty. There is, however, a more cynical way to look at it. Florian's acts may have been an unconscious protest against the arrangement itself. He may have wanted a connection, even if it was only for a short time. That was beyond the tightly controlled realm of the Silver Empire, a link that wasn't based on Stacey's supposed financial deals. Stacey's response is also quite telling. She was clearly upset and outraged, but her choice to forgive him and go through with a huge, expensive wedding appeared more like a business decision than anything else. The twin flames brand of Stacey and Florian was too valuable to throw away. The wedding was more than simply a celebration of love. It was also a way to show support for the brand. It was a high-stakes way to fix things, a public statement that the business alliance was back on track. They spent a lot of money on the wedding, which was a show of riches and fantasy, almost as if they wanted to forget about the scandal. They were telling the public, and maybe even their investors, everything is fine. The product is still viable. The fantasy is safe. The way these two couples are acting now is the long-term result of these supposed arrangements. The early appeal of fame and fortune has faded, and now they have to face the harsh truth of how much it costs. The husbands are no longer just appreciative new people. They are men who are starting to fight back against the secret that is at the heart of their marriages. They are sick of the secrets, the power imbalances, and the hidden forces that control their lives. Georgi's last departure and Florian's growing anger are more than just normal marriage troubles. They are signals that a company model is in trouble. The husband's assets are turning into debts. They are no longer willing to put up with the arrangements that pay for the delusion. The men are asking for a different agreement, which is making the fight worse. They want to be spouses in a real marriage, not just actors in a money-making scheme. And that is a big threat to the whole silver empire. An empire created not on love or glory from television, but on a carefully managed portfolio of rich donors. The dream is falling apart because the men they choose to finish the picture are starting to show that the frame is not real. This theory makes us look at every part of their public image again. It becomes eerily ironic when they talk all the time about empowerment and being boss babes. Is it really empowering? Or is it just a way to make yourself feel better? How to change a life of reliance into a life of independence? Yes, they are the bosses, but who are their customers? Their obsession with looking young and having surgery to improve their looks is no longer simply about vanity. It becomes an important part of how they do business. In the world this idea talks about, their looks are their most valuable trait. They say it's the basis of their income, therefore they have to keep it up, add to it, and make it better at any costs. It's not a choice you make for yourself, it's something you have to do for work. Their bodies are their office space. You can also see their famed twin tuition in a fresh way. It's not simply a sisterly tie, it's a plan to work together. They are a brand and a distinct package when they are together. They back each other up, agree with each other's choices, and stand together against any outside criticism, whether it comes from family, fans, or their own husbands. They are the co-CEOs of their own private business, and their strong friendship is what makes them so strong. It helps them deal with the stress and moral compromises that would probably break a single person. They trust each other with secrets, do business together, and provide each other alibis. This isn't just a narrative about two famous people. It's a gloomy story about how people nowadays want fame and money in the age of Instagram. It talks on the lines between performance and reality, empowerment and exploitation, and love and business. The Silver Twins have acted like the main characters in a modern fairy tale. Two females from small towns who made their own rules and developed an empire. But this idea tells a different story. A narrative of a well-hidden business, a group of strong guys, and two husbands who are ultimately at their breaking point. People are starting to see the flaws in the fiction, and the end may be closer than anyone realizes. There is no love or trust between them and their husbands. It's a business issue. The men are no longer willing to be quiet partners in the deals that pay for the whole silver illusion, not from chatter from the outside world, but from the men who sleep in their own beds. The whole foundation of their world is in danger. The empire is starting to fall apart from the inside. The real test of every conspiracy is not how crazy it sounds, but how many different, unrelated facts it suddenly makes sense of. The benefactor theory is the key that opens up all the strange, conflicting, and dramatic scenes we've seen in the Silver universe. It explains the money problem. It explains why the men are upset. But it goes far deeper than that. It gets to the heart of the Silver family's dynamic and shows the silent, often unwilling people who were part of the twins' big lie. Mike Silver, the patriarch, is at the core of this web. Mike Silver looks like the perfect long-suffering father on the outside. He is the voice of reason, the man with the checkbook who swoops in to fix things, pay for housing, and show his constant, tired worry. People tell us that he is the most important financial safety net, the retired provider who is doing well and yet spoils his daughter's extravagant tastes. But if the benefactor notion is accurate, his role is a lot more sad. He is not the main source of money. He is the backup in case of an emergency. He is the one they call when a wire transfer is late, when a benefactor is temporarily out of favor, or when an unforeseen expense threatens to expose how fragile their financial flow is. Think about the parts where they ask him for money. There is always a sense of urgency or crisis when it is delivered. They need to put down a deposit on an apartment now. They need money right away to start a new line of House of 11. Women who make a lot of money and have a solid job don't act like this. It's how people who live on the edge and have to deal with a changing and unexpected income act. This interpretation says that Mike Silva isn't helping them reach their goals. He is filling holes in a sinking ship, maybe using his own retirement savings, and he has no idea how deep his daughters are in debt and lies. He believes he is supporting a real business that is having trouble and a career in reality TV. He probably doesn't know that his money is being utilized as bridge finance between payments from unknown international sources. He is also angry with Georgi and Florian in a different way. He thinks they are lazy and unmotivated men who are using his girls. He doesn't get why these healthy men aren't working. He thinks that Darcey and Stacy are the ones who make the money and that these spouses are leeches. The sad irony is that he is going after the wrong people. The people who really provide for his daughters, the ones who set the level of life they won't give up, are the faceless, nameless people he doesn't know anything about. Mike is in a proxy war. He yells at Georgi for not being a provider, while the real provider is a 65-year-old billionaire in Dubai. He is an unknowing piece in his daughter's complicated game. His love and money are being used to keep up a lie that is slowly tearing apart the family he is attempting to protect. He is not a co-conspirator. In fact, he may be the biggest casualty of the plot. And then there are the two daughters, Aniko and Aspen. For years, they were the cute, helpful kids in the backdrop of their mother's crazy love life. But as they've become smart, observant young ladies, their roles have changed a lot. They have become the show's unwilling conscience. They are like the Greek chorus, and their facial expressions and short, funny comments show the truth that their mother and aunt try so hard to hide. Their eye rolls aren't just teenage attitude, they're silent cries of disagreement. Their doubt isn't just youthful cynicism, it's the clear view of someone who hasn't learned to lie to themselves yet. Aniko and Aspen have been able to see the whole thing from the front row their whole lives. They've witnessed the revolving door of relatives and family friends who just so happen to be very rich. They have gotten presents and trips that they must have known their mother couldn't afford on her own. They know the family's secret history. Now that they are adults, they are starting to comprehend how much the channel bags and fancy apartments really cost. They see how hard it is for their mother emotionally. They realize how unstable things are, how much drama there is, and how badly they need to be validated. Their interactions with Darcey on television say a lot about them. When Darcey cries over a guy, they usually seem more annoyed than sorry. Is it because they are cold? Or is it because they realize the tears aren't simply for that man? They recognize what's really at stake. A breakup is more than simply a split. It could hurt their finances. A fight with a husband isn't just a fight. It's a threat to the whole story that safeguards the secret income. Aniko and Aspen are always on edge and have to act like adults. The things that save a mother from losing herself in a world she made up, they want their mother to be normal, to halt the surgery, and to discover a simple, real love. This is a request to end the whole thing. They don't desire what the benefactor network has to offer. They need a mom. They desire a life that is true, safe, and honest. They are the story's moral compass, and their growing disillusionment is probably the most damning proof of all. They will be the ones who have to deal with the consequences when the empire falls apart. They are the kids of a dynasty built on sand, and they can feel the tide coming in. The ticking clock in the background of every image is their quiet judgment, counting down to the moment when the truth can no longer be hidden. To really get to the bottom of this supposed procedure, we need to look back at the information on screen and use this new notion as a guide. It seems like harmless events take on new meaning. For example, they are really into vision boards. It looks like a harmless way to make things happen, which is a common self-help idea. They sit on the floor and cut out pictures of mansions, diamonds, and far-off places. They talk about putting it out into the universe. But the vision board is not a petition to the universe. If you think about the benefactor notion, it's a plan for your business. It's a list of goals. The mansion in the Hollywood Hills is not a dream. It is a goal that may be reached by finding a donor in the entertainment industry. The Maldives trip isn't a wish. It's a suggestion for a future business trip. The huge diamond ring isn't a sign of love. It's a critical performance indicator that shows how committed and generous a giver is. The language they use to manifest is the clean, spiritual language of their real business. They are not making things happen. They are looking for them. They are not bringing in a lot of business. They are getting clientele. This changes the way they think about their spiritual side as a planned element of their brand management. They can talk about their money aspirations on TV without having to explain how they plan to reach those goals. It's a masterclass in how to deny something that seems true. Then there's the continual, over-the-top emotionality, the tears that never stop. We are told that this is because Darcey and Stacey are incredibly emotional and passionate ladies who feel things very strongly. But what if the crying is a sign of something else? The huge, crushing tension of having two lives. Think about the ongoing stress. You have to deal with the needs and wants of several prominent and perhaps demanding donors. You have to deal with the growing distrust and anger of your own husbands. To conceal your tracks, you have to run a business that looks real, a TV show, and a public image. You have to deal with your kids' quiet judgments and your father's well-meaning but wrong meddling. It is a full-time job of emotional, financial, and logistical gymnastics. It's not only about the battle over a text message. They are the holes in the dam. It's when the fantasy gets too much to handle because you're so tired of keeping it up. The emotional breakdowns are a way to let go of a lot of mental stress that would make most people sick. Let's break down their main phrase, Silver Strong. It's a battle cry for their brand that they say over and over again. It stands for strength, independence, and sisterly support. Silver Strong is a corporate slogan, but it is also part of the benefactor hypothesis. It's the philosophy that their two-person business lives by. When a contract falls through, a husband threatens to leave, or the public criticism gets too loud, this is what they say to each other. It's not about how strong you are emotionally. It's about keeping your business going. It's a reminder to everyone to safeguard the business at all costs, to never break ranks, and to show the world that they are all on the same page. They realize that their whole empire depends on their shared secret and their complete dedication to each other. If one of them breaks, the whole house of cards falls down. Silver Strong means keep the conspiracy going for them. When we look more closely at their trips abroad, especially to Dubai, the proof of this covered business becomes more stronger. As we talked about, this city is a global center for hidden wealth. But tales from the edges of the reality TV realm give an even clearer picture. A source who claims to work in the high-end concierge business in Dubai has given information that fits well with the benefactor scenario. These sources say that the twins' trips are not vacations they pay for themselves. They are generally all-inclusive trips paid for by certain people. Their hosts pay for their flights, their hotel suites at places like the Burj Al Arab, and their shopping trips. They don't use an American Express card. The insider says that their travel plans are not like those of most tourists. They record the clean, public-facing activities for TLC, but their nights are full of private events, private boat dinners, exclusive parties in penthouse apartments that only certain people are invited to, and private meetings in hotel suites. These are not meet and greet events for fans. The insider says that these are high-level networking events where they keep in touch with current donors and meet new ones. The source said that the twins were the best at this kind of thing and could be charming, funny, and completely professional. People in these circles don't think of them as reality stars. They think of them as something else, a known amount in a world where secrecy and trade are important. This supposed way of doing business in Dubai also explains why they buy so many designer items. The argument says that the shopping sprees are not only for fun, they are a way to get paid. It's a means to move money without leaving a paper trace of a cash payment. A $10,000 purse or a $20,000 watch is a present, not a paycheck. It's a reward for doing a good job. They can just say they got the new stuff with their House of 11 money when they get back to the US with tens of thousands of dollars worth of it. It's a smart way to get paid that is hard to track down. And this gets us back to what the House of 11 does. If it's not a main source of income, then it must be a financial tool. In the realm of complicated finance, this is called a front. The goal is to give a real reason for getting rich through other ways. The hypothesis says that House of 11 is the perfect place for this. What does it do? There are several parts to it. First of all, it gives you a real business location, a bank account, and a corporate identity. This lets them do business deals that might seem shady for a private person. Second, it can be used to make sure that money coming in is real. Any bank would be quite suspicious if a foreign national sent $50,000 to a private citizen through an international wire transfer. But sending $50,000 to the House of 11 corporate account from an international investor or for a wholesale purchase agreement is just business as usual. The records might not be real. They may say they sold a huge cargo of clothes to a boutique in the Middle East, which would be very hard for anyone to check. This lets them move money from their supposed benefactor network to their real American bank accounts, where it can be cleaned and spent freely. Third, the business gives people a chance to talk about their way of life. They don't have to go into detail about their income when asked. They can just declare, "We are successful entrepreneurs," and point to their brand. It's a basic, strong, and successful falsehood that stops most questions. It's the most important part of their whole public relations plan. House of 11 doesn't just sell garments. It sells the biggest lie of all, that the Silver twins are women who made themselves. The load-bearing wall is the most important part of their empire's infrastructure. It stops the whole decaying construction from falling down. Husbands have always been, and will always be, the biggest threat to this carefully built universe. They were brought in from the outside, shown how things worked on the inside, and told they would have to play their part forever. But the twins made a deadly mistake. They didn't realize how much people want realness, respect, and love that isn't based on money. They saw Georgi and Florian as things to be managed, not as friends to be loved. And now, those assets are openly rebelling. Georgi's leaving wasn't just a breakup. It was the resignation of a crucial employee who no longer wanted to follow the rules of his job. He kept saying he was being insulted and that someone else was in charge of his money. This was the complaint of someone who knew what their job was but didn't want to accept it. He wanted a real marriage, but over time, he regretfully came to the conclusion that a real marriage was not feasible in the Silver business model. He couldn't be a provider, and he couldn't inquire where the provision came from. People thought he would be a quiet, good-looking accessory. His choice to quit constituted a direct danger to the business's stability. It got a lot of bad news, made people ask difficult questions, and showed the world that the fantasy was really a nightmare. The twins' condition is significantly worse because of Florian. He is still inside. His moody silences, passive-aggressive comments, and clear dissatisfaction are all signs that he is about to have a breakdown. He has stayed, but instead of being compliant, he is now angry. He has seen it all. He knows how the operation works and what the secrets are. Florian is a possible whistleblower who has immediate, current access to the evidence, unlike Georgi, who is now on the outside. Every fight he has with Stacy and every time he feels disrespected brings him closer to a point of no return. The twins are now in a frantic high-stakes battle to make peace. The expensive wedding, the gifts all the time, and the declarations of love are not romantic gestures. They are ways to keep Florian faithful and silent. In a way, they are always renegotiating his contract, making the offer sweeter to make sure he stays quiet. But they are putting bandages on a wound that could kill them. Florian, like Georgi, wants a real marriage, not a part in a show. Money or presents won't fix the situation. He is a threat to life itself. The most dangerous thing in the whole Silver enterprise is a frustrated husband who knows too much. The only thing keeping the floodgates closed is his silence. And based on what we see on screen, that quiet is getting weaker and weaker every day. So what does the end look like? How can an empire like this come to an end? There are a number of possible outcomes, each worse than the previous. The first, and most often, is a betrayal from within. A husband finally decides to communicate after being pushed too far. He talks to a tabloid, writes a tell-all book, and gives proof to a blogger. He identifies names, dates, and places to show the whole network. The tale would be a media firestorm, a huge scandal that would not only end their TV careers, but may also have major legal and financial ramifications. The second possibility is when someone betrays you from the outside. A donor who feels insulted or replaced resolves to get back at the person who hurt them. These are strong, rich men who don't want to be messed with. If an unhappy benefactor leaked images, texts, or bank records, it would show that the connection was transactional and humiliate the twins all over the world. This would not only stop one source of cash, but it might also scare away other donors and cause the whole network to fall apart. The third possibility is that the economy will crash. They spend money all the time, and they say that their income comes from staying young, charming, and having good relationships. What happens when they get too old to work? What happens when the economy throughout the world goes down and their benefactors have to cut back? Their way of life would become impossible overnight without the steady flow of huge quantities of cash. The creditors would come knocking, the cars would be taken back, and the evictions would be filed. The fantasy would go away, leaving them with nothing but a huge amount of debt and a warehouse full of House of 11 stuff that they couldn't sell. And last but not least, there is the slow, quiet disintegration. Aniko and Aspen, the daughters, grow up and move away. They don't want to be a part of the dissection anymore. The family breaks up, the spouses leave for good, and the show is eventually cancelled. The twins are alone in a rented flat, surrounded by the ghosts of their designer past. They gave up every chance to connect with real people for an ideal that was always going to vanish. This might be the saddest realization of all. Not a big bang, but a lengthy, sad whimper. The story of Darcey and Stacey Silver is a cautionary tale for our times. It is a story about the seductive power of a curated life, the impossible cost of maintaining a fantasy, and the ultimate emptiness of a world where everything and everyone has a price tag. We, the viewers, have been captivated by the drama, the glamour, and the tears. We have been sold a story of two sisters searching for love and building a brand. But the evidence, when pieced together, suggests a far darker, more complex narrative. A narrative of a secret empire, of calculated deception, and of an inevitable fall from a grace that was never really theirs to begin with. The math never made sense because we were never meant to see the real equation. Is the sugar daddy theory a disgusting rumor born of jealousy and misogyny? Or does it finally provide the only logical explanation for the Silver twins' mysterious, gravity-defying wealth? Is it a hateful lie, or is it the ugly truth hiding in plain sight? Vote in the poll and let me know why in the comments below. More update. 90 Day Fiance. Darcey and Stacey Silver celebrate major award nomination. Was Georgi already married to someone before Darcey? And Georgi back to Bulgaria to family amid breakup rumors with Darcey. Mike Silver net worth 2025. The quiet millionaire behind Darcey and Stacey's fame. I will explain everything. Fans of 90 Day Fiance had plenty to talk about when they saw what Darcey Silver posted on her social media. Darcey said that she and her twin sister Stacey Silver got some kind of attention in the new media. The reality star told everyone about it in a video post and made sure to say how much it meant to the twins. She even placed some remarks on the video telling her supporters to vote to demonstrate their support. No matter what the supporters decide to do to show their support, Darcey's post is clearly getting some attention. The Silver twins have become well known throughout the years, especially because they were on 2 TLC reality shows. A lot of people know about Darcey and Stacey, and even if there weren't many likes, there were a few comments regarding the women. What caused this big honor? How did people react to the sisters' party? Read on to discover out. Darcey told everyone that she and Stacey had been nominated for an award for influencers. Along with her sister, Darcey operates the House of 11 brand. She also takes care of her 2 daughters, Aniko and Aspen, who are from a previous marriage. Fans of 90 Day Fiance have also experienced Darcey's journey through Happily Ever After, as she goes through several stages of her love. In Season 9, her story was mostly about her marriage to Georgi. It seems like the two have been having some problems because they come from different backgrounds, which makes it hard for them to talk to each other. Darcey and Georgi tied the knot in November 2023. The most recent episodes are on the tension between the two because they don't agree on having kids. Georgi talked about the expectations his family has for him, which have been bothering him emotionally. Darcey also felt hurt since Georgi had changed his mind about being a father. To give you some background, Georgi said at the start of the relationship that he didn't want to have kids. The pair has been fighting verbally since they don't talk to each other the same way. Many fans of reality TV reacted when Darcey said that she and Stacey had been nominated for a category at the Global Influencer Awards in Miami. She posted an official video and said, "I'm honored to be nominated. Your votes really matter." She even told her fans to click the link in her bio and vote for the twins. Stacey joined her sister in the comments and said how excited she was. Stacey went on to say that being nominated was a huge honor. Within hours, the post got hundreds of likes and almost 200 comments, which shows that they can get people interested. Some fans backed the sisters and appreciated their hard work and impact over the years. Some others made sarcastic comments and asked what the award was based on. One person who watched said, "Did they nominate each other?" Another person said, "They make me want to keep my natural face and not get implants." A lot of people made fun of the changes in their bodies. Another admirer said, "What? People are affected by these too, which is not good for society." This is a clear sign of how divisive the twins have gotten over time. Even if people are saying bad things about it and not liking it, the post is generating a lot of comments. The twins are still getting attention, even if there is a lot of hate. Was Georgi already married to someone before Darcey? Fans of 90 Day Fiance know everything about the fight between Darcey and Georgi. During the tell-all episode of Happily Ever After Season 9, the pair said they were having a hard time. They are noted for being very different from each other and having nothing in common. The couple had a lot of trouble because their aims were so different. Darcey was worried that he might have cheated on her, and Jovi and Cara agreed with her. Cara and Jovi also told Georgi some secrets during the show, which made him feel bad. But fans found out something even more interesting. Georgi married someone else before Darcey. To find out more, keep reading. Darcey and Georgi talked about how their marriage had hit a rough patch in the tell-all episode of 90 Day Fiance aka F. Anne saw Darcey say she doesn't really trust him. Then Cara surprised everyone when she said she had seen him with someone else in Miami. Also, the pair revealed they don't have any more, which shocked everyone. Cara said he wasn't able to commit to Darcey for the long haul because of him. But Georgi instantly blamed Darcey for not having with him to protect himself. Darcey said that he thinks Darcey wants her boyfriend to chase her a little, but that never happened. Darcey revealed that the last time they were was while they were filming The Last Resort Tell-All. Everyone was surprised by this news. Shane also said that it was clearly a dry period and told Darcey to ask her spouse why he has been keeping his distance. Fans of 90 Day Fiance saw things go a lot worse between Darcey and Georgi, but it seems like everyone already knew it. But the audience can't accept this. The Silver twins said that both of their husbands married them so they could get citizenship and a green card. That doesn't seem to be the case with Georgi though. Someone on Reddit said that Georgi married someone else before Darcey. The tweet also said that no one on the show talked about his first marriage. Georgi was married to someone else and had been living in the US for a few years. "I think he was a well-known masseuse in DC too," the OP said. The person who posted the original message said that since he was already a citizen of the United States, why was Darcey still alleging he used her for a green card? The Redditor went on, "If I were him, I would stand up and yell that she wasn't his sponsor and he didn't owe her anything. Am I wrong?" A user said that the producers also brought back the story that he had to support him for 10 years, even though he has been in the US for 13 years. The same person joked, "This whole story is more interesting than Darcey's cleavage." Another person said that this story is bullshit because he has lived in the country for more than 10 years. The fan went on to say, "I'm sure he probably had a green card, but he probably just never applied for citizenship, which is crazy." One person said that the program settled this situation a long time ago when Darcey met Georgi's ex. "Yes, maybe I should think about Darcey and Stacey." Another person answered. Someone else said that the writers had messed up the whole tale. A critic said that Georgi said on camera that he married someone before Darcey and also said how long he has resided in the US. What do you think? Please let us know in the comments. Georgi back to Bulgaria to family amid breakup rumors with Darcey. When rumors circulated that 90-day fiancé actor Georgi was divorcing Darcey, he returned to Bulgaria. The couple said that there had been a difficult period in their relationship. He blamed her for not having at all, and she blamed him for not having physical contact with her for 6 months. The tell-all for Happily Ever After Season 9, they tore each other to pieces. Darcey was certain Georgi had cheated on her. Cara and Jovi both stood by her and presented strong evidence. What the co-stars said left his wife speechless. They demonstrated the poor quality of Georgi's marriage. Cara stated she witnessed him doing shady things on the streets of Miami while Darcey wasn't looking. Was Darcey not with Georgi when he left Bulgaria? Has he already ended their relationship? Their co-stars gave Darcey a thorough tell-all lesson once he discovered that Georgi was no longer tactile with her. The entire cast of 90 Day Fiancé got together for the first time to demonstrate to Darcey's husband the importance of in a marriage. The Bulgarian individual learned the lesson from Andrei. Andrei became interested in Darcey and Georgi's business because he was curious about why Georgi couldn't make his woman happy. "Warm up your bedroom game," he said. Jasmine's Gino apparently didn't stop himself either. Rather, he burst out laughing. He enjoyed discussing it. When the previous season discussed his encounter with Jasmine in the bedroom, he didn't like it. Georgi then vowed to make his wife scream at night in bed. Georgi appears to have reconciled with his family, as seen by the photos he shared on Instagram from his recent trip to Bulgaria. His marital issues were documented on 90 Day Fiancé, which nearly prompted Darcey to discuss ending their union. In order for her to feel at peace, she instructed him to formally end their relationship by obtaining a divorce. Georgi's new post included him showing off his new toy, a farmer's truck, in Bulgaria. He traveled to his family's land from America. Because he was so content with the car, fans thought he looked like a child on a ride. They claimed that he had never felt so at ease in Darcey's presence. According to Georgi, Bulgaria has been giving him plenty of free time. He wanted to know if his admirers loved his toy. His smile was visible to everyone on the internet. While he was struggling with Darcey, he experimented with new things but kept them a secret. Many in his nation welcomed the milestone because they believed he might have divorced her. In order for them to move to Bulgaria rather than the US, Georgi has been pleading with Darcey to show him kindness. His goal was to purchase a home close to his family. Because she was unaware that he had been preparing something important for them, his wife was afraid of his plan. The idea of living somewhere other than his ideal home was immediately rejected by Stacey's twin. Mike Silver, net worth 2025. The quiet millionaire behind Darcey and Stacey's famed fans of 90 Day Fiancé immediately think of Darcey and Stacey Silver when they think of glitz and controversy. Age. However, their father, Mike Silver, is the mastermind behind their daring attire, emotional makeovers, and internet celebrity. Calm, reserved, and quietly successful, he's the genuine boss of the Silver family empire. Fans are curious about Mike Silver's true net worth and how he amassed it, even as his daughters take center stage. Mike Silver's projected net worth as of 2025 is $10 million. While various estimates vary from $8 to $12 million based on his ongoing business endeavors. In contrast to his daughters, Mike's reaches came from he spent decades in engineering, production, and international business to build TV. His rise from Connecticut engineer to global chairman demonstrates why he is among the richest people associated with the 90 Day Fiancé company. Mike makes money from a variety of sources, including production projects, corporate leadership, and sporadic reality TV appearances. His wealth is based on discipline rather than drama. Mike Silver's ascent to riches began with diligence and astute business sense. He worked his way up through a number of executive positions after starting his career in engineering and production. Each stage provided new worldwide potential. He rose to the position of chairman at Worley Parsons China, previously Masons Worley Parsons, one of the largest EPCM service providers in China. Over the years, the corporation manages billion-dollar projects across energy, oil, and resources. It established alliances between Asian and American industries under Mike's direction. These transactions served as the cornerstone of the Mike Silver net worth narrative. By combining strategy and dedication, he was able to consistently turn experience into seven-figure returns. Mike was already a well-known international businessman when reality TV came into his life. Mike Silver's compensation as an executive didn't end there. He became a wise investor, allocating gains to long-term investments and real estate. According to reports, he has a number of assets, including a house in Middletown, Connecticut, as well as other foreign holdings related to his work in Asia. Mike held important positions in National Oilwell Varco, including area director and international sales manager, prior to becoming the leader of Worley Parsons China. His exposure to high-value markets gave him an understanding of how international transactions operate, which helped him construct his financial empire. He is frequently recognized for instilling in his daughters these financial principles and inspiring them to look beyond celebrity. His financial acumen served as the model for their fashion brand, House of 11. Mike Silver is primarily involved in business, but he has also dabbled in entertainment as a producer. He co-founded 11th Entertainment, a production firm developed with his daughters, Darcey and Stacey Silver. They collaborated to develop the independent comedy White Tea, which expanded his already varied body of work. This partnership was about family legacy, not celebrity. Mike's discreet involvement in artistic endeavors provided his daughters with the groundwork to develop their professions in entertainment with discipline and economic acumen. His ability to combine business acumen with artistic aspiration demonstrates why the Mike Silver net worth narrative is about creating wealth for future generations through astute diversification rather than just statistics. Fans got a peek of Mike Silver's stable fatherly personality during his debut appearance in Darcey and Stacey. Mike became a fan favorite for his straightforward outlook on life and love, from addressing Florian's supposed infidelity scandal to giving sincere counsel. When Darcey and Stacey talked about his health problems in 2023, he once again grabbed center stage and became the subject of one of the show's most poignant plots. Although he received some compensation for his TLC appearances, his precise reality TV pay is unknown. Fans nevertheless concur that his cool demeanor balances the high-energy mayhem of the program. In contrast to many reality TV parents who strive for celebrity, Mike uses his position to showcase his family's resiliency, strength, and quiet dignity, qualities that only serve to bolster his well-respected reputation. Mike Silver has consistently provided his daughters with both financial and emotional support. He taught them how to maintain their fashion and lifestyle company, House of 11, in addition to helping them establish it. Supporters admired his ability to strike a balance between independence and charity. He delivers counsel, not control. His life and legacy are defined by the belief that wealth is more meaningful when it helps others. Mike has a multi-million-dollar fortune, but he leads a simple life. Despite his frequent travels between the United States and Asia, he would rather eat supper with his family than walk the red carpet. For him, luxury is about comfort and freedom rather than flaunting one's wealth. His admirers frequently characterize him as having old money energy. Calm, quiet, and self-assured, Mike reminds audiences that true success doesn't require noise, but Darcey and Stacey adore glitz. Mike Silver is much more than just Darcey and Stacey's dad, but it is an easy way to describe him. He is a producer, coach, investor, and worldwide executive. Even without reality TV, his accomplishments are impressive. His $10 million fortune is the result of decades of perseverance, curiosity, and bravery rather than chance. Mike created stability and legacy, two things that endure in a culture driven by viral celebrity. Mike isn't slowing down at 70. He still serves as a corporate advisor for multinational corporations and quietly but significantly influences his daughter's growing business endeavors. Mike's financial and creative power may soon spread into other industries as House of 11 expands its reach and Darcey and Stacey tease new initiatives. In the years to come, Mike Silver's net worth is probably going to continue to increase due to his ability to combine economic acumen with emotional intelligence. Mike Silver's net worth stands for something quite different in a franchise full of fleeting stardom and headline-driven chaos: steadiness. As a father who transformed international commercial savvy into generational security, he is the serene core of the Silver brand. Even though he doesn't seek recognition, his accomplishments are more powerful than any reality TV moment. Mike Silver has demonstrated that genuine success doesn't require shouting, whether through his production endeavors, corporate leadership, or calm parenting. It just persists. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.